I've been quite interested in unorthodox scientific theories, piecing together why are some challenges to existing paradigms kind of acceptable within the scientific discourse and will get debated within academic journals, and others are ridiculed with intense emotionality. Why? And what I've discovered is that anything that suggests that there is intelligence outside of human beings is very, very triggering. With good reason. Because it says that we can't treat nature the way that we do. That our whole civilization, based on the manipulation and control and domination of all other beings, is sick. Like, we know that it's not okay to manipulate and exploit another person simply to maximize our own self-interest, right? It's not right to treat a person like that. We understand that intuitively. Why? Because that's another self right there. You know, you have your own desires, you have your own life course, your own destiny, your own unfoldment. It's not right to subsume that under mine, right? You're a being too. If we see Earth as a being too, and see everything on it as a being too, and every tree and every animal and every plant, then it becomes no longer right to utilize that simply as a means to our own desires. Which doesn't mean that we don't use animals and plants. But it's a relationship that has to understand that this being has a purpose as well, an intelligence as well. It has a destination as well. That there is something that wants to be, I like to say that something that wants to be born, or it could be the yearning of the land, the longing of the land, the longing of the planet, something that wants to happen. That's not simply what we impose upon a generic, impersonal substrate. That the world outside of ourselves isn't just a receptacle for our own designs. And this is not to say that there is some non-material designer that's not human. I'm not talking about intelligent design here. I'm not talking about an external world of the spirit. That's actually no help at all. Because if you say, well, so basically the view that we might call spiritual even, like spirituality is a highly problematic term in my book, because it says, yeah, you're right. You know, matter is just a bunch of stuff, but there's this other thing called spirit. There's, yeah, you're right. There's no organization inherent in matter, but there is this outside organizer. Like, that is really part of the same story that differs only in one trivial detail. The revolution that we're in is a lot bigger than that. The universe is intelligent through and through. So, what you could call the new story, which is really an ancient story, but it's new in our context, says that who we are, no longer separate beings in a universe of other, but who we are is the totality of all of our relationships. So that everything that happens in the world mirrors something that happens inside. Everything that we do to any being, we do to ourselves. Any relationship that you have mirrors something in you. Every problematic person, every conflict that comes up mirrors an inner conflict. And here we find kind of a unification of activism and spirituality, which is becoming really obvious. On the one hand, the activists facing decades and decades of very little result. I mean, in environmentalism especially, you know, but in any, even social activism too. I mean, geez, when we basically recognized the fundamental problems in the 1970s, even the 1960s. And things have gotten much, much worse since then. Simply telling the truth, revealing the problem, and trying to convince people to change their ways hasn't worked. And we reach the point where, you know, maybe there's something about how we are engaging the problem, how we are engaging the world, that is responsible for our failure. Maybe we are recreating, projecting onto the world our own internalized oppression, our internalized ecocide, our internalized violence. And realizing that without healing that, we will never heal the world. And that is totally obvious if you understand that self and world mirror each other. Meanwhile, the spiritual people are realizing the need for activism. Because how can you work on yourself if hidden parts of yourself are never revealed through relationships, through engaging the world outside of ourselves? So there's this convergence between spirituality and activism. And it's something that we would expect when we understand that self and world are intimately connected, not just interdependent for well-being. It's not just that we're dependent on nature to meet our needs, it's we're dependent on nature and all other beings to even exist. And that's why, you know, if a species goes extinct or something, it's so painful, because part of ourselves is dying as well. It's certainly not because we make some kind of implicit rational calculation that our self-interest is going to be damaged by the, you know, rainforest plants that could otherwise make medicines that will someday save our lives or cure cancer or something like that. This appeal to, you know, instrumental utility is ridiculous. Nobody becomes an environmentalist for those reasons. Nobody can be scared into being an environmentalist, but that's how we try to do it. You know, and I think that's one reason why that IPCC report was so ineffectual. You know, it's like, let's try to scare people into caring. But is anybody here an environmentalist because you got scared? You might say that you are. You might argue that way. You might, when you're in an argument with somebody and you say, well, we have to change our system because otherwise we're not going to survive. Or even like, here are the economic losses that climate change will cause. Like, I mean, come on. Is that why you became an environmentalist, because of the economic losses? Were you scared into it? I don't think so. I think that we become environmentalists because we experience beauty and grief, which awakens love.